everybody, it's Miss Culbertson, and I just wanted to talk to you for a little bit about how to organize the work packet and the different parts of it. It's about 100 pages, might be a little bit less, so I didn't want y'all to get it and be like, okay, teacher, what do you want me to do here? I promise, once you kind of break it down into the parts, it's going to be really simple and easy to understand. So I've taken mine out of a binder, but it's really helpful if you have an extra binder at home to grab one. This one, I think it's, 1.5 inch was perfect size. I think a 1-inch binder would work too. If you don't have a binder, that's absolutely fine. But you might want to find something to keep it in. It's going to come in a file folder, but these are not the best for keeping things organized. So if you have an old folder lying around, even if you just kind of keep it in a box, that would help too. My personal kitchen table has turned into my office. It's a disaster. It's embarrassing all the time, 24/7. So I know at home, if you've got lots of children doing their homework and you're working from home, you're going to want to kind of keep everything in one place. So binder works. If you don't have one, don't sweat it. You can find something else. The first page of your packet is just going to be a little cover sheet that hopefully breaks everything down. There are 4 sections of this packet. So you've got your reading lessons and your math lessons, and these are the first parts, and they're the most important parts. Then you have math practice and reading practice, additional practice pages. These are great. Please do them, but they're not paced out. You can kind of just do them as you need extra practice. So then there's a nice note here, and there's also information about how to log into music, art, PE, like all of those different classes. So that is right there for you. If you look at the next page when you get your packet, you're going to see a breakdown of the phonics skills. Okay, actually, we've got this one right here, and then we're going to move into the next one. So it tells you right here which week and which word family we're working on. So we're working on 2 word families a week, trying to finish up our short vowels as through the school year. And this page is going to teach you exactly what to do with all the worksheets. So, right here, this is a good cheat sheet guide to kind of have. If you lose this page, we can always send you a digital copy, but if you can just like take a little picture of this with your phone, because if you don't have these words, some of these papers might seem a little bit crazy, okay? So every day you have a phonics activity. Monday and Tuesday, introduce the word families. Wednesday and Thursday, there's kind of a more deep practice, and then Friday is a mini spelling test. And we're not taking grades on these tests, okay? We're not taking grades at all on anything as of April 20th at 2:02 p.m. I've heard absolutely no intentions of doing grades. So don't feel like your child has to study for that test to make a good grade on it. If they don't, no. It is all about practicing and maintaining that habit. We started spelling tests at the beginning of third quarter, middle of third quarter. We just want the kids to have more practice with that, and I think they're going to enjoy it, growing up. Okay, so we have our 2 word family introduction sheets. Sounding out the words, writing a sentence, reading the words. Simple, easy peasy, doesn't take very long at all. I would encourage you to have your child sound out these words independently to see what they do and what mistakes they make. Then you can go back through and help them coach their mistakes. So if, you see that they're writing an E when they need to be writing an I, that's a little clue like, ooh, we really need to work on this I sound, or differentiating between the 2. So if you look at some of these pictures, some of them are weird. That looks like an onion, and we all know that onion doesn't end in ig. It's a fig. So again, that little cheat sheet right here is going to give you the words that are used through the week, and that's going to kind of help. It's hard to find good pictures, and it's hard to find good 3-letter words. So that's a little trick to help with that. With the sentence writing, there's a checklist for mechanics. Capital letter, punctuation, and finger spaces. Okay, all of those important things that kids need to have. And with the sentence, I would encourage you to just let them sound out words and just let it be what it is. Now, if they're misspelling a word within the word family for the week, absolutely work with them to correct it. If they're misspelling a sight word that we've done again and again and again, please, please, please help correct it. But for example, if your child says, that is a beautiful pig, and they spell beautiful Bootiful something, it's okay. Okay, I didn't know how to spell beautiful in kindergarten. I don't know how to spell a lot of the words that I use. I have spell check, thank goodness. So we're going to give our children the grace of that. If they want to learn how to spell it the right way, I would let them do it their way first. Sound it out and stretch it out. They get so much development in their phonological awareness, in their sounds, just everything going on in their brain, helping them be a reader. If they're sounding out beautiful, I don't know. When they're doing the stretching and sounding out, they're making connections and processes in their brain that they absolutely need to be readers and writers. So you can have them do that and then go back and go, you know what? The word beautiful is French and it has EAU and that's what it is. Or, whatever level you're comfortable with. And then the bottom, some of these words are more challenging. Usually they start easy and they get progressively harder. For example, the first word is wig, and then at the end I've got twig and zigzag. It's all about finding that ig, or whatever the phonics component is, inside a bigger word. So you can actually take a highlighter or just a crayon or straight up underline ig in all of the words, and that's helping your child see that this word chunk appears in harder words. So it's not just being able to sound out p-ig. It's being able to see it. I know how to spell wig, so when I see the word wiggle, my brain has some help. I'm not having to sound out the whole word. So Wednesdays and Thursdays, it's a little bit more challenging. You have these two, one for each word family. And on these sheets, you have a cutting and gluing component, a writing component, and a reading component. So with the cutting and the gluing, down here, you've got a sentence. It's mixed up. Most of the words are words your child should be able to read independently. If they're stuck on a word, obviously you're going to help them work through the sounds, but most of these are going to be sight words and easy words to sound out. Sometimes there'll be a word, like in this case, there's a ball there, and then there's the word ball down there. So it usually matches with the picture. So the first thing they're going to do is cut this out and then glue the sentence in order. That is helping them with their language development, especially if your child is learning English as a second language. This is going to help them with all the funny little ways that we put words in order in English. It's also, if you have this right here, it's just going to help them understand how words work in sentences. So they're not, when they're speaking, getting as scrambled and all of that. So this is great practice for that. You can also use it to talk about, this is the beginning because it has a capital letter. This is going to be at the end because it has punctuation, okay? Then there's a written question here. It usually has something to do with this. So you're going to have your child write their answer. So that this one, do you like to play ball? Yes, I do like to play ball. Or no, I don't, because one time I got hit in the ball with the face, okay? Or hit in the face with the ball. See? Putting words in order. Super important. For this sentence, it doesn't have to necessarily be realistic. It doesn't necessarily have to be, it can be imaginative. Like this one over here. What is the pig doing? Well, the pig in the picture is reading. And you could keep it simple and say, the pig is reading. Or you could say, the pig is eating a burrito on a submarine. No one is going to judge your child's sentence based on content, okay? We're really giving them just a practice with these mechanics right here, and they can make it as creative as they would like. So down here, you have a reading passage. The reading passage is going to have a lot of words that have this phonics piece. I encourage your child to go through and circle that phonics piece before they even start reading. It's just going to kind of help them with the sounding out. Some of the words might be more challenging, and I've went through and I've bolded the ones that I thought might be challenging. Go ahead before your child reads, say, hey, this dark bolded word here, that's played. It's the sight word play with ed at the end. Or, hey, that word's happy. Just help them out with that. We would do that in the classroom. So those are some of the more challenging words. Then there are 2 multiple choice questions that are straight from the reading. And then over here, there's usually a drawing activity that relates to the story. So if I say draw Kit, which is the girl in the story, I wouldn't want them just drawing a girl. I would want them to draw a girl who is playing ball, or maybe a girl who hit the ball, kind of attaching it to what's in the story here. Okay, basic reading comprehension. And then Friday, picture spelling test. Okay, easy peasy. If your child doesn't know what one of the pictures is, of course you can read it out loud to them. You could tell them all the words. It's completely up to you how you want to do it. And again, these words go with the words that are on that little cheat sheet that I had at the beginning. And then another additional Friday practice, because I think that'll be pretty quick, is this test. It's what we would have used as a reading quiz at school. Again, no grades, nothing like that. But it is a lot of different reading skills, whereas the other parts of the reading packet are just the basics, the most important things. Again, writing a sentence. Your child can come up with a sentence. Another thing you can do is a dictated sentence. So if you can think of a sentence with anywhere between 5 and 10 words, they run out of room, they can flip it over and do it on the back. That's really helping your child build their working memory. So you might say, that big pig has a wig and a fig. It's nonsense, right? When you get all these rhyming words. And they would repeat it orally, say it out loud, and then write it. Okay, that's just an option. They can write their own sentence. It's all about getting a sentence down. But dictated sentences help build their working memory, and that's a really important functional skill they need moving into first grade. There's a passage. Now, for example, this passage has the word Willie in it. They're not going to know that word is Willie. They might see the will, and that's not something I'd expect a kid to sound out. So if you would skim this passage and, hey, that's the name Willie. If you see a word your child's going to struggle with, of course, tell them what that word is. Especially names and things like that, absolutely acceptable. And then down here we have some more multiple choice questions. Now, this part and this part, if you look at it and you're like, this is teacher language, and this teacher, just stop, just tell me, text your teacher on Dojo, we will work through it. We will try to use this vocabulary in our live lessons, but if you get to something and it doesn't make sense, guess what? It's okay. It's totally okay. So this says, write the correct digraph word. So digraphs are those words like TH, SH, CH, all of that. We have a path and the word chop. So your child will just write those words. Now, we've used almost all of these pictures in our presentations that we've been doing all year long. So my hope is they won't seem too foreign to your kids, but if they do, just skip it. Don't worry about it. Your child's going to be okay. Okay, they are going to go to first grade just as planned. Everything is going to be okay. They're going to get there. Okay, the most important part is that they feel safe and happy and not stressed out. So if this is stressing you out, just don't do it or don't do part of it. Okay, I value academics. I'm a teacher. I love it. But at the end of the day, we need to have healthy, safe, happy kids when we return to school, whenever that may be. So, sorry, had to get on my soapbox. Okay, then next week starts again, same cycle. Moving into math. And if you don't have dividers, because I've realized most people don't have dividers randomly laying around their house, you can even just take a sticky note on the front section. So this is like the math cover sheet. Just put like a little sticky note tab on the end, and that way you can flip to it if you need to. Whatever helps you get organized. So in math, every unit, and it's either a week unit or a 2-week-long unit, and it'll tell you the dates, has a cover sheet explaining the concepts to parents. Math did not look like this when I was in kindergarten, okay? I didn't see some of this stuff until I'd been teaching for maybe 3 or 4 years. I like this stuff. It's great stuff. That's why I use it. I wish someone had taught me math this way. But if you're not a teacher and you're not seeing it all the time, it just can look, a little bit crazy. So I did the best I could to kind of break down the most important parts. This is talking about what we're learning and why we're learning it. These are talking about the types of tools we use each week. This is a breakdown, like a step-by-step. And then this part right here, super important, has some videos that can help your child. Certainly, they're not the only videos out there on these topics. There are amazing YouTube videos, but I also know it's hard to sift through all of it when we have a gazillion other things happening in our lives right now. So I've just put the YouTube title of each video. So if you just type it in as is, it should pop right up. There's also a Brain Pop Junior for each topic. If you don't have that account from your teacher, just ask her for the username and password. You can also make your own Brain Pop Junior account right now. I'm pretty sure they're free until July or June or something like that. Excellent Brain Pop Junior. Excellent videos explaining concepts. Some of the videos on here are just songs, like 3-4 minute songs, good warm-up kind of things. And then some of the videos are 15-20 minute episodes of educational programs that your child can watch quietly for 15-20 minutes. So those times when you're like, I know my kid needs to be focusing on school, but we all need a break, because we all need a break. I tried to help you with those. Every one, I think, has either a Number Jacks or a Number Blocks episode. If you go to YouTube, Number Jacks, Number Blocks, 2 different shows. They both really have amazing content, and they really pull kids in. Okay, so any Number Blocks or Number Jacks episode, Number Blocks, Number Jacks, yeah. Names are so close, but they're 2 different things. Excellent resources for math concepts, and your kid will love them, and they will, at least that's what they do in school when we show them. I don't know. Might not work at home, but it's just a little magic that I wanted to pass on to you. And then every day of the week, there is a worksheet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they tell you right up top, day 1, day 2, day 3, and they go through the skills on that concept. Now, obviously, if you're not able to work on schoolwork every day because you're still working or children are with grandma or whatever, just do them when you can, okay? No teacher at J. Glenn Edwards is going to be fussing if we don't have these things being done at the same time. It's impossible. Things are crazy right now. So do what you can. This just kind of puts it in an order to help you, so it's not like, there's 100 pages, what do I do? Because I would not like that. So talking about all that organization in the binder, I've already ruined my packet mess so much. So don't be like me. Organize it, because, oh my Lord, mine's going to be on the floor, my dog's going to eat my homework, and then I don't know what I'm going to do. All right, every Friday, you also have a brain workout. Oops, wrong way. So you've got this cute little brain here, and he is flexing his stuff. He is getting strong and smart, just like your kid's going to do in math. These are reviews of essential kindergarten skills. These don't necessarily match the concept for that week. These are just all the important things for first grade readiness. It's a lot for a kid to take in, okay? I would give them one section at a time. Look at it. It's usually very self-explanatory. Add and subtract these numbers. And when they're done with that, okay, now read the word problem. And we always read word problems, so feel free to do that. Then do this section out loud. Then, so, because if you try to explain all the directions at once, this is what they're going to do. And whatever they turn back to you may or may not be close to what you were expecting. So feel free to just take it section by section with them. If your child looks at this and is overwhelmed, because developmentally this is quite a lot, good old hamburger style. Fold it in half, and then they're only looking at a small part of the paper at a time. And that can work with a lot of these other papers. Love to just fold a paper to make things simpler for kids. Easy peasy strategy. So you could say, your kid's having a hard time or just needs a break. Okay, do this half. Go play outside for 10 minutes. Come back. Go play, you can work things out like that. Just some little teacher tricks. Hopefully make things easier at home. So moving through. So every week, parent guide, 5 pages, and then the test paper at the end. And again, if any of the concepts on this paper are like challenging for your child, or the language is just different than what you're used to having it being explained, or how you're... Y'all, I already recorded this video once, okay? And then I deleted it. So this is my second go through. So if I'm tongue-tied, it's because my mouth is genuinely tired of talking. Believe it or not. Okay, so anyway, if any part of this is just not working for your child or it's just not working for you, just JoJo message us. We will help you certainly figure this all out. And there might just be typos in there that make no sense because I'm a human being and I make mistakes. So if something really doesn't make sense, it's probably because it's a complete typo. So don't feel bad about calling me out on that. I'm not bothered one bit, okay? All right, so the next section. So that's the essential stuff. Those two parts, like that's day by day. If your child goes through that, boom, they'll be great. If you feel like you need extra practice helping them get through that or kind of going a little bit beyond that, we have extra reading pages and extra math pages. I'm going to very quickly discuss those with you. So these right here are simple reading passages. My screensaver keeps popping on. They're usually sight words and sound out words. Some of them are about specific like holidays and spring and things. Like this one is about baseball. So if your child gets to a word and it's like, well, no, they can't sound out baseball. Not at this point. The pictures are here, usually at the bottom, to help them. So before they read, I'll go ahead and say, okay, this word is baseball. That's baseball, baseball. Okay, circle baseball. This word's catch. Okay, catch. Okay, let's find catch and let's circle catch. Easy peasy, takes you 2 seconds, and then they're not asking you in the middle of the story what the word is and having to stop. So that is super helpful at the bottom. The ones that are sound out like easier, you could just have your child read those before reading the story. And then some of them, like a cot, it's a nice, easy word to sound out, but no one talks about a cot on a regular basis. Maybe just define them and help them out with that. So with these passages, you have either 3 stars or 4 pictures. It just depends. Up here, color one every read through. So for this one, it's expected, read it 4 times. And your kid's probably going to be like, you're going to read it 4 times. And say it's because their teacher said so, okay? So the reason why we have them read it multiple times is every time they read it, their expression is going to get better. The first time, it's going to be choppy. Second time, it's probably going to sound okay. Third time, it's going to sound good. Fourth time is going to be beautiful. So helping them learn that when you read, you need to read with expression and you need to read smoothly is why these are here, and that's something you can work on. Now, if your kid's going, play ball, we love to play baseball, I haven't burned head, I hit the ball, I'm done. Nope. You don't get to color your star. You don't get to color your baseball because you're not reading at a rate that supports your comprehension. We want you reading like a teacher. So really helping them work with that. Projecting their voice as they're reading is another thing you can work on. I have a lot of kids. I've had a lot of kids over the years. Beautiful readers, great readers, could sound out any word you gave them. So this is a great time because you're at home to practice reading louder and louder and louder. Okay, you can even, 3rd and 4th time you read in a zombie voice or read it like a vampire. Maybe that final read you can do kind of silly. Anything to help kids understand how their voice is being projected. Because a lot of times kids just don't know that they're whispering or mumbling. So that's part of what this is about. Okay, man, I do like to talk. All right, I'll move on quickly through the rest. So basically, read the story. If you want to extend it a little bit, circling sight words they know, circling word parts they know, great practice. 2 fill-in-the-blank type questions over here. And then right down here, you have multiple choice. True and false, sometimes a multiple choice. It just depends on the story. So those are great reading practices. Please have your child pace themselves with them. I know if your child's like zooming through it, that's great, that's fantastic. But in the long run, it's going to help them to just kind of practice those skills in little chunks rather than get it all done and then be sitting around with nothing to do, and you having to, go to Ollie's and buy books and go to Walmart and try to find flashcards and workbooks. Just kind of help them pace themselves through it. And again, like I said, take those, if your kid this is easy for them, help them take it to the next level. Have them read it in a fancy voice or have them circle some of the harder things, like in this one, play and baseball both have long A. Why do they have long A? Well, this is AY, and this is a silent E. I'm not putting that out there for all kindergarten right now. If your kid can get through this story and read it with a little bit of fluency and expression, they are good to go. Please understand that. But I've heard from a lot of feedback from parents is that some of this has been too easy, and I get it. In a regular classroom, I have the ability to take small groups of kids and pull them aside. I have the ability to add those little challenges in, and right now, it's just hard. I wish I could give your kids everything they need, but I'm just trying to give you a few little helpers, okay? On the flip side, if this is too hard, don't sweat it, okay? Your child only got 3/4 of the year before they were uprooted and sent back home, and we are going to get them where they need to be whenever we come back to school, and I don't know when that's going to be, but I promise that your child's teacher, whenever your child sees a teacher again, is going to be compassionate and understanding about what they've been through. A lot of times in kindergarten, it's not until like the end of April for a lot of these light bulbs to come on, and it's just magical because once it starts, boom, it starts. It's why I love kindergarten so much. So if your child is still, these things are still challenging, it's going to be okay. I promise you it is going to be okay. And if it's not okay, we're going to fix it until we get it okay, okay? So that's the reading passages. Apologize for my soapbox moments. I feel like I'm stressed about all this stuff. And if I'm stressed about it, I bet you are stressed about it because they're your own babies, your flesh and blood. And I just want you to know we are going to take care of them no matter what happens. Okay, the next and final, it's the end. Aren't you happy? Last section are these little math tune-ups. I use these at the beginning of the year in first grade when I taught first grade, just to make sure my kids had what they needed to start first grade math. So if your kid can do the stuff on here, they are not going to be behind at all. If it's a little bit hard, that's okay too. Everyone has a word problem. There we go. Starts off with a word problem. Of course, if your child needs help reading them, read them. Usually we read the whole word problem, even in first grade. So you can, of course, help your child with the reading part. Helping them make sure they actually fill this out. There's this great blank space here for them to write and do their work. But making sure they actually fill in the bottom part, or if there is a line saying write the equation, just really checking all those boxes and having work that is complete and neat is another great skill that you can work on at home, regardless of whether something is challenging or easy or just right for your child. We can all work on handwriting, no matter what. Raise your hand if you can work on handwriting, because I know I sure can. And we can all just work on making sure we've checked our work, it's neat, it's complete, it's our best. Those are just some skills that are easy to practice at home. Usually up here, there's some sort of addition, subtraction thing. It's all going to kind of tie back to the things we've talked about. And then down here is some sort of counting or number practice. Tracing numbers, writing numbers, all that different stuff. So these are good practice. These are front and back. I think the reading passages are front and back too. Again, there's only 15, so pace yourself through them. Don't have to do one every day. Every other day, twice a week, something like that. So I hope that this very long video helped break down all the parts of the packet for you. If you still have questions, reach out to your child's teacher. We will figure it out together. Like I said, this was teacher created in a day. We had very little prep time for it, so we did the best we could to get the basics in there. But if you see something that doesn't make sense or there's some inconsistency or a typo, please let us know, and we will do what we can to address that. Thank you for listening, and thank you more than anything for working with your child during this difficult time. Everyone's in a different position, and some people were worried about our own health, and a lot of people are worried about putting food on the table. There's a lot more going on right now than 100 worksheets and 50 live video links and this. Okay, we know that. We're not pressuring you into putting academics above your child's health and safety, okay? But we also know that you want to support your child, and that's why we have these resources. So thank you, and I will be in touch. And if you need a question just for me, Miss Culbertson, you can find my website or my web page on the J. Glenn Edwards website. Email's on there, and you can get in touch with me that way. Okay. Thank you. Bye.